Final round of the Arnold Palmer Invitational from Bay Hill. Round 3 wrapped up earlier on Sunday with Daniel Berger holding a slim one-shot lead. Will he be able to hold on for his first win since 2021, though? But first, Scottie Scheffler looking to avoid a finish outside the top 20 for the first time in his last 23 events. Par 4 18th. The approach shot, 148 yards to the pin. Scheffler leaves it short, kicks off the rocks, and this ball goes into the water. Scheffler would double bogey the last to fall to 2 under, one of 2 for him on the day, tied for 24th at 2 under for the tournament. So not his best stuff. But Daniel Berger, he won his best on Sunday, trying to separate himself from the pack. Par 4 9th, second shot, 157 yards from the hole. Berger sticks it on the green, settles 7 feet away. He would make that for birdie. Takes a 4-shot lead, so in total command here. Is anybody going to be able to catch him? Well, Akshay Batia, one of those guys looking to chase him down. Par 4 11th, long birdie putt. We're talking 58 feet away. Sends it across the green, curling to the hole, and finds the bottom of the cup for the birdie. Batia gets 3 shots back to keep things close. Back to him very soon. Over to the 13th. Things getting dicey for Berger. Third shot from the greenside bunker. Shanks it right. Doesn't even put it near the hole. He would bogey the hole to fall to 15 under. So this opens the door for Batia. Staying on 13, another birdie putt, just inside 11 feet. His 4th straight birdie. Batia moves to 14 under, gets 1 shot back of the lead. Now he would bogey the 15th to fall 2 shots back, but he makes up for it in a big way. Because on the par 5 16th, second shot, 190 yards to the hole, gives it a ride, and it plops right next to the hole. Settling just 3 feet away, he would make that for eagle to get to 15 under. Staying on 16 with Berger. Eagle putt of his own, inside 20 feet. In this one, just a little too much on it. Fades right. He makes that for birdie to move to 16 under. Holds just a 1-shot lead with 2 holes to play. Drama now at the par 3 17th. Batia with a birdie putt, 18 feet away. This one, it looks good. Oh, but it misses on the right. Batia, he can't believe it. He would par the hole. Meanwhile, Berger trying to save par. 7 feet away. 7 feet away. He misses right. What's going on, man? Berger would bogey to fall to 15 under. We're all tied headed to the 18th. More drama at the par 4 18th. Berger needs to make par after Batia put his 3rd shot inside 2 feet for a tap in par. His par putt, 13 feet away, rolls it in for a huge par save. Berger fired up as he should be. Batia would make his putt, so we are headed to a playoff. First playoff in this tournament since 1999. Replaying the par 4 18th. Batia's only 2 wins on tour have come via playoff wins. We start with Batia. His birdie putt, 27 feet away. It looks good, but it just stays left of the hole. So close. But now the pressure is on Berger. Par putt. Berger needs to make this 7 feet away. Fades off the right and misses, taps in for bogey. Now Batia, all he has to do, just make his putt for the win. That's all you got to do. 3 feet out. Should be easy, and it is. Akshay Batia wins the 2026 Arnold Palmer Invitational, his 3rd career PGA Tour win. All of them coming in the playoff. And get this, Batia joins Tiger Woods as the only golfers to lead the field in strokes gained around the green and strokes gained putting. Batia rising to the moment and walks down Daniel Berger at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Playoff golf at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Daniel Berger entered the final round with a 1-shot lead over Akshay Batia. This is Berger on the first playoff hole, needs to make his par putt, but he misses and taps in for bogey. So Batia can win it by making his par putt. And he does. Batia wins his 3rd career event on tour, all coming by way of the playoff. And he was the only golfer to shoot in the 60s in each of the final 3 rounds. Akshay Batia is your winner at Arnie's Place. And yeah, this is his first PGA Tour win since he won the 2024 Valero Texas Open. And again, something about that playoff, that is when he rises to the moment. Time now to welcome in CBS Sports golf analyst Patrick McDonald and Shane Bacon to digest what we witnessed at the final round of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Akshay Batia winning his 3rd career PGA Tour event. first since the 2024 Texas Open, as I mentioned. Shane, I'll start with you. What did you see out of Batia as he was able to outlast Daniel Berger?
Yeah, Chris, we were talking about this earlier today about Akshay and how close he's been this season and, really not showing up in the final round. I think I was the most impressed with just his ability to show up on that back nine. I mean, you mentioned after the round that him and Joe had talked about shooting 4 under on the back. Obviously gets off to that incredible start as he made the turn on Sunday there at Bay Hill and just started making putt after putt after putt. I look at Akshay as kind of the outlier young player, right? I mean, you think about what the PGA Tour has instituted with PGA Tour U, and it really promotes, collegiate players staying around until their senior year. Akshay was the opposite of that, right? He came out early, turned professional, and chased this dream of being one of the best players in the world. I mean, he's 24 years old now, and he just made his 102nd start on the PGA Tour and got his biggest win and win in style. I mean, I'm very impressed by Akshay. Really threw the bag. Obviously, the putter was shining really, as it has all season. But Akshay just has gone about it differently, and it's working out very well for him.
It seems, Shane, like we kind of saw his full potential there on the back nine. I mean, this guy was 5 strokes behind Daniel Berger with 9 holes to play. He just booted away a short miss there on number 9. And then he just flipped it into gear. Birdies on 10, 11, 12. The big 2-shot swing there on 13. That was honestly a great bogey from Daniel Berger. And then when he had to step up and hit a golf shot there on 16, Joe Greiner telling him to hit the 6-iron of his life. He called it a, quote, professional push, but it pushed it real close to the hole there, tap-in eagle, and really put himself back into this tournament. I love this duo of Joe Greiner and Akshay Batia. Batia has really just praised him about being another left-hander, seeing shots like him too. And he's off to a great start here in 2026, finishing a stroke outside that playoff in Phoenix, having that 54-hole lead at Pebble Beach. And like Shane mentioned, it's very easy to forget that this guy is only 24 years old, given how long he's been on the TV, given how long he's been in the spotlight. And just think about it. Scotty Scheffler didn't claim his first win until he was age 25. And so he's just compiling all this experience through all the playoff victories, through all the close calls, and it's only going to help him down the line in bigger tournaments like major championships and the Players, where he finished T3 last year too.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the young stars on the PGA Tour. Now, as for Daniel Berger, he was 13 under entering the weekend, but shot just 2 under in the final 2 rounds, preventing him from a 5th PGA Tour win. Patrick, what changed for him? Because at one point during this final round, I thought, oh, he had it in the bag, and then he didn't, as we saw.
Yeah, I think the shot on 13 was a little bit of, I was a little too close to the water there yesterday, leaked out a wedge to the right, overcorrected a little bit, compounded that error with an unfortunate break in the greenside bunker. But like I said, made a really good shot, only to lose 1 stroke there. But I would say Berger hit some really quality iron shots coming down the stretch. I mean, seeing Batia hit that 6-iron into 16, he came back through 1 to 20 feet as well. The speed kind of tricked him a little bit there on that putt on 17 leading to bogey. But I think for Berger, if he had 3 swings back today on Sunday, it would be the 3 drives on 18 from this morning when he made bogey and from this afternoon when he made bogey on that first playoff hole too. But I was thoroughly impressed. We talk about the experience. Akshay probably had the more recent experience. Berger hasn't been in this position in a while. And given how far he has fallen in the world of golf, outside the top 600 in the OWGR at one point, to come back to this stage and continue to play good golf, I know it's kind of like Shane Lowry last week. You're going to have to take the positives from this start if you're Daniel Berger.
Yeah, I mean, just a few too many mistakes really over the weekend. I mean, this is a guy that made 1 bogey the first 36 holes, made 7 bogeys the last 37 holes, including obviously the bogey in the playoff. Got a little squirrely with the driver as well. Started to miss it in the wrong spots, especially there at 18. Honestly, just could not figure out that tee shot. He was not the only player to struggle at the 18th this week. Scotty Scheffler played the 18th 5 over this week at Bay Hill. I mean, it's a very, very difficult closing hole. It kind of gives credit to what Akshay was able to do there, both to finish off his 3rd round this morning and, of course, what he did in regulation and in the playoff. I mean, Daniel Berger got close. I think there are a lot of positives to take from the week, and we always talk a lot. I mean, we kind of harp on this a lot in golf. There's winners that don't win, and I know Berger obviously wanted to leave with a trophy, but I think this was a big step in the right direction of a guy that kind of needed to see something like this.
Yeah, you're not always going to win every tournament, but if you have some consistency, you have progress in your approach and everything that can lead to wins eventually down the line. Now, you guys brought up Scottie Scheffler, okay, how he won at 25, his first PGA Tour win. And for him, he's a world number one player, but it was an up and down week. He finished 2 under. Shane, what do you make of Scottie's performance at Bay Hill?
Yeah, he's just not as sharp. Patrick and I have been talking a lot about Scottie this year, and I think Patrick and I both have kind of been pushing back a bit in terms of what we've seen from Scottie Scheffler, because he's won already this year, obviously out of the gate, and then he's been so close, missing out basically on 2 victories by a single shot each time. The last couple of events for Scottie have been a little rougher. And I mean, this week was a good example of that. Scottie, typically the type of player that when the golf course gets tougher and the conditions get tougher, Scottie typically moves up a leaderboard, not down it. And this week, I felt like Bay Hill really got to him, and it exposed some of the struggles we've seen in terms of the ball striking and the iron play from Scottie Scheffler. And obviously, Patrick, the putter, was frustrating him as well. That was about as emotional as you'll see Scottie throughout the year.
I think what happened is after the American Express, I said he'd threaten double-digit wins in 2026, and he might have heard that, maybe a little added pressure for the world number one, because I don't think he's going to be touching that mark the way he's trending right now. But he talked about after his round how he wanted to see some progress today with his iron play. He felt pretty happy with it, got gusted a few times, which happens out there at Bay Hill. But Shane, for me, the driver, he put a new one in the bag at the onset of the week. He hit barely 50% of the fairways out there at Bay Hill. I know it's firm, I know it's fast, but Scheffler, for as much as we talk about the iron play, he came into this week #1 in strokes gained off the tee. And because of that, he kind of played a lot of defense out there. So like Shane mentioned, just not as tight, a little bit loose, especially with the irons, I would say. Came into the week outside the top 50 in terms of strokes gained approach. The numbers this week are going to look a little fuzzy, I think, just given that Scheffler hit the ball in the water twice on 18, which is something he typically does not do with his irons. So I'm curious about that iron play heading into TPC Sawgrass, and kind of honestly the state of his ball striking, which is something we never say about the world number one.
Yeah, Scottie Scheffler definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board if he wants to get that #1 spot at the end of a tournament. Shane Bacon, Patrick McDonald, always appreciate the time. Now the countdown to Augusta continues. Next up, the PGA Tour's Florida Swing heads to TPC Sawgrass for the Players Championship. Then in a month, it's the Masters with third and final round coverage on CBS. Coming up, it's the Tour's 5th major. We dive deep into the Players Championship next on CBS Sports HQ. The Florida Swing continues at TPC Sawgrass next week for the Tour's 5th major, the Players Championship. Rory McIlroy won the event in a playoff over J.J. Spaun last year for his 2nd win at the Players. His status is up in the air this year after withdrawing that is, from the Arnold Palmer with a back injury. And for more, as we look ahead to the Players, we're back with CBS Sports golf analyst Patrick McDonald and Shane Bacon, and Rory McIlroy looking to defend his title and win the Players for a 3rd time. If he's able to give it a go, Shane, how concerned are you about this back injury?
I'm not that concerned. I mean, he said he tweaked it at the gym, said it wasn't really that big of a deal. I think where he sat on the leaderboard at Bay Hill had a lot to do with the fact that he was going to go home for 2 days, considering the golf course was playing tough, and he was likely not going to catch those players, especially Daniel Berger at the time, near the top of that leaderboard. I mean, all the reports coming out seem like this was precautionary, and he's just obviously preparing for defenses both at the Players and Augusta National. Obviously, the second defense there being a little bit more important than what we see with him this week at the Players Championship. But, I mean, the hope is that he's good to go and he's healthy and he can swing it, because for a tournament and a place we've talked so much about kind of the rarity and the strangeness of who wins, you've got both Rory and Scottie who've won 2 times, looking to join Jack Nicklaus as the only 3-time winners of the Players. And I mean, when you look at kind of the recent run of the champions there, it has been elite status of the guys that have taken down the TPC Sawgrass in the Players Championship. So the hope is Rory's healthy. The hope is that he can go.
Yeah, I would say 1 out of 10 on concern level. Like Shane mentioned, I think where he was on the leaderboard, what the golf tournament was, if it was a major championship, he probably would have given it a go. But just because he had won that golf tournament before, he has the Players Defense next week, he has Augusta National the month after that too. I think Rory understands at this point in his career, hey, it's a long season. No need to be a hero right now in early March with 4 major championships in a long summer. up ahead to possibly compound a mistake and make this injury even worse. So I'm with Shane. I expect Rory to play well. I think the one thing that was a little maybe head scratching when he was playing healthy this week at Bay Hill was some of the mistakes he made. He had the weak right misses with the wedges again, Shane. He had that a lot earlier in his career. We thought he got rid of it in 2025 up until 13 at Augusta, obviously on Sunday. And so I'm curious about that. He hit some tee shots in the water too. So just cleaning up some stuff. I think that we saw at Pebble Beach that trickled into this week too. In between, he played great at Riviera. If he plays more like Riviera Rory, I think he's going to be a problem for the rest of this field.
All right, it'll be good to see if he does indeed get to that form. Now, there is some uncertainty surrounding the world's top two players. Rory with his back, I know you guys are not that concerned, but Scottie Scheffler was his up and down play as of late. Given their situations, Patrick, who do you have more confidence in to win?
Scottie. It's got to be Scottie. I think his floor, we're talking about how there are holes in his armor right now. He just finished T24. He still finished inside the top 25. And that came with a couple really bad shots into 18 to close out his third round and close out his fourth round too. And so Scheffler's floor is just so high right now. It's just he's getting it done in a little bit of a different manner than what we're used to. We're used to him gaining multiple strokes with his ball striking. Right now, the short game and the putting seems to be carrying the load. I have full faith in Scottie Scheffler that he's going to figure out his full swing and that he's going to be back to contending over the weekend in big time tournaments here shortly, if not this weekend. So you had the little bit of a question mark with Rory's back injury, like Shane and I mentioned, not too big of a question mark, but still something to monitor. And because of that, I'll roll with the world number one.
I'll go Rory just because I think he's going with some positive vibes. Obviously, despite the back problems, I mean, that second round, he was very happy about the way he played, kind of going into the weekend. He was high on the game, high on the way he was striking the golf ball. Obviously, the iron play from Rory this year has been exceptional, as it typically is one of the best on the PGA Tour this season in terms of iron play, something you've got to do great around TPC Sawgrass. And, I mean, Rory's just a guy that has somehow started to understand this golf course more and more every time he plays it. It almost feels like a lot of the old school players, when you hear him talk about St. Andrews, it feels like Rory has started to fall in love with TPC Sawgrass and the design and what it asks. It's kind of a non-Rory golf course, I think, is one of the more interesting parts about it. You don't have to lean on power all the time, but obviously you can lean on that precision with the iron play, and that's what I expect to see from Rory if he is healthy.
I'm curious about what you expect from this next player, because he's another former major winner, Brooks Koepka. I mean, he's making his return to the Players for the first time since 2022 as he rejoins the PGA Tour on a full-time basis. He finished strong last week at the Cognizant Classic, Shane. So what are your expectations for Brooks Koepka?
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole season for Brooks is a bit of a kind of a step in the right direction season. When you look at the way Brooks Koepka has competed at times, we've seen some very good Brooks Koepka, but the consistency just isn't quite there. And when you think about tough golf courses, it's very tough to find consistency within the week. So I think for Brooks, it's kind of stepping in the proper direction and finding a level of success throughout the bag that you feel like can be competitive across 4 rounds of golf. Because for Brooks, obviously the focus for him is at the major championships. It's at places like PGA championships that he's had so much success at. So I think a lot of this for Brooks is just stepping in the right direction as we get closer and closer to that meat of major season.
I brought this up a couple weeks ago too, Shane. The cadence of this schedule for Brooks Koepka is so unique to him, where this is a tournament where he would want to be playing into. Instead, he has that week off in between the Cognizant Classic and the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Brooks, throughout his career, has been very vocal about wanting to peak the second, third week of the playing stretch. And because he's not in the signature events, he's not in the big time events, he's got to go about it a different way. So he found some form, obviously, on the greens, the second, third, and fourth round there at PGA National, but TPC Sawgrass is a completely different animal. It's very nuanced. He hasn't played it in a while too, doesn't have a top 10 finish throughout his career. So I think anything on the second, third pages of the leaderboard at the Players Championship would be a success for Brooks Koepka before he kind of gets it into gear heading into the Masters. I think he has a run of really good golf courses for him, especially Memorial Park, where he has his hands a little bit with that design too, before we get to Augusta National in the first major of the year.
So any of those guys could potentially win it, some with better chances than others. But if we had to put a pick to it, Patrick, who are you looking at to win the Players?
I'm going to roll with Russell Henley. This guy just went bogey-free across his final 36 holes there at Bay Hill. That's something that's very difficult to do. Early reports out at TPC Sawgrass suggest that the rough is a little bit higher. I know it's still early in the week and they can cut it down and make it easier for these guys, but I think with the PGA Tour's push to make this a major championship, I think they're going to want to make it more major-like in terms of conditions. I think it's going to play tough out there at TPC Sawgrass. Henley doesn't have a great history here, but Shane, we've seen a bunch of guys not have great history here and kind of just find it. That seems like a Russell Henley golf course. Pete Dye, point A to point B, creativity. You need some touch around the green. I think Henley gets it done by week's end.
I kind of thought you were going to pick Ricky again. I feel like Ricky's trending. I mean, it really seems like a Ricky pick for you. I'm going to go Colin Morikawa in terms of who I think is going to contend and potentially win this for the first time in his career. He's played well at TPC Sawgrass at times in his career, finished just outside the top 10 back in 2023, finished in the top 10 last year. Obviously, the iron play has been elite this season. He's hitting a boatload of fairways as well. He's done that throughout his career, but especially the last 2 seasons, and has had some really nice moments with the putter this year. Obviously, getting the win at Pebble Beach helps, but I think Colin Morikawa's game right now is not going away. Saw him play great at Bay Hill, and I feel like he's going to have another great week and a real good chance to win the Players.
All right, so in other words, both of y'all are doubting world's number 1, Scotty Scheffler. Shane Bacon.
Sure,
Patrick
yeah,
McDonald.
we'll go with that.
Yeah, you know, it's all good and fun. Shane Bacon, Patrick McDonald, always appreciate talking golf with you guys. So the 7 past champs are in the field next week. Rory and Scotty trying to become the first to win the event 3 times at TPC Sawgrass. We'll have full highlights and analysis after each round right here on CBS Sports HQ.